your love, I lift my shirt up. Those guys are Aaron and Bryce are sending me, upwards of between 50 and 100 musical sketches. Some of them are kind of highly developed that they've been working on for a long time. Some of them, they just, are these spontaneous little, very rudimentary little, guitar or piano sketches. And I'll just listen to those things over and over again and start to put stars next to a few that for whatever reason I'm feeling connected to musically, and I'm feeling like I'm finding melodies for, and they're often not the ones that those guys would put their stars next to, and that's kind of in the early process. That's where it gets funny, where they are always trying to get me to work on so and so, like these 5 or 6 sketches that for whatever reason I'm not connecting to.
Once there's a sense of these 20 or 25 ideas, Matt has some melodic or lyrical ideas to them, and we like the music, then we will start working on them as a band. Not with Matt, really. Usually just Brian and Scott and Bryce and I just experimenting with different ways to play the song. And a key element of that is obviously, can Brian compose a beat that is, interesting to him and is not pedestrian, and because sometimes there's an implied rhythm in songs that kind of that sync the song before it ever gets anywhere, or we start to feel, it's not going to work in this album.
Yeah, I think, songs have to go somewhere for us. It's not, the crescendo's not always, there's certainly songs like England or Blood Buzz, they kind of build and go, but there's other songs, like Sorrow or Ghost or something that are more subtle in the way they transform, and it's not necessarily a kind of pounding crescendo at the end. So but I think that songs for us to hold our interest, they sometimes you can get like a minute out of anything usually, but then to go on from there, it's it needs to develop and change, and usually take a left turn.
We do, in the spectrum of rock bands, I guess we do go darker than the average band or whatever, and talk about kind of uncomfortable things maybe. But I've always thought they're kind of a pretty healthy balance between tenderness and optimism and humor and melodrama.
The way we work, the music comes first, and it's recorded to a pretty evolved. It reaches a fairly evolved state before Matt finishes the lyrics, and I think some of us were surprised by some of the darker, lyrical moments. Although I think it's also sort of, there's a lot of humor in it.
I don't think the experience of listening to our records is depressing. It's the opposite. I think by turning some of these sad moments into these kind of beautiful things, like songs, or the song Sorrow is about someone's relationship with their own sadness, and it celebrates it in a way, and it acknowledges it, and it embraces it, and that is, I think it is an uplifting thing.
Yeah, those are the two poles that exist in the band. Of, I think, Bryce and I, and to some extent the others, are interested in pushing the idea of what a song could be, or pushing ourselves conceptually at times with the music, where we like it when we can have an interesting rhythm or musical idea exist in a song and develop that. Whereas I think for Matt, it's much more about this elusive heart.
Aaron and Bryce also do tune into sort of the when there's this, it might not be academically advanced music, but just a simple guitar, couple of chords progression that is working with a good melody, they recognize that as and I also have a relatively sophisticated ear for exciting, musically adventurous and interesting things, and I do have an appreciation for it. The main thing that I think works for us is that we realize that there isn't, it's not like we're gifted in this way that anything we do is going to be good. And we realize that it takes a long time and a lot of work and a lot of thinking and a lot of starting over and a lot of sweat to discover good songs and to write good songs. And we've just learned to let ourselves are patient and we'll do that kind of that heavy lifting and we don't just put stuff down and say like, oh, we realize that a lot of the stuff we write is not any good, so it takes work.